So Kevin Feige once again decided that, the best thing to do is probably go out there and lie to fans while sticking his foot in his mouth and making a fool of himself. Because he's claiming that, oh, replacing Kang with Doctor Doom had nothing to do with Jonathan Majors getting arrested for assault and all of that. No, no, no. That was always the plan to do this. Well, nobody believes this because we all know it's crap. You literally had things out there saying, Avengers, Kang Dynasty, and all of this. You were literally trying to push it. But when you had Kang in Ant-Man literally getting defeated by Ant-Man and ants, it wasn't getting anywhere at all. But now you're trying to backtrack and say, now we're always going to do this. And nobody is believing it. Because contrary to what Kevin Feige and most at Marvel and Disney would like to believe, people aren't stupid. You might want to think people, but they aren't stupid. And this is why they keep seeing through your crap. Diving to this article here from Bonding into Comics. Marvel fans reject Kevin Feige's claim that Doctor Doom replacing Kang unrelated to Jonathan Majors' arrest. Nobody believes this. While speaking to journalists in a roundtable interview at the Disney headquarters, Kevin Feige addressed the replacement of Jonathan Majors' Kang with Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom as the main villain of the multiverse saga. Okay? The Marvel Studios president raised eyebrows after claiming that Jonathan Majors getting arrested for assault wasn't the real reason why Marvel replaced his character. Oh yes, it was, and you knew it. During a press conference via Deadline, Feige stated, even before what had happened to Jonathan Majors, we had started to realize that Kang wasn't Thanos. Well, yes, Kang isn't Thanos, was never going to be Thanos, but let's keep in mind, at that point in time, the MCU was so stupid in its own stupidity, they figured they could put out anything and people were just going to lap it up. That was it. There was only one character that could be that because he was that in the comics for decades and decades. And because of the Fox acquisition, we finally had it. And that's Doctor Doom. He assured attendants, adding, we had started talking about Doctor Doom even before we officially pivoted from Kang. Feige would then double down, declaring, in fact, I had started talking with Robert about this audacious idea before Ant-Man 3 even came out. Now, here's the thing. When it comes to Thanos, they spent like 10 years building up Thanos. They haven't done a damn thing like that since. We all know that the whole Robert Downey Jr. as Doctor Doom was a last-minute thing because they haven't done anything to build up the character. We only got one small little cameo at the end of Fantastic Four where Sue Storm, Wolverine, and sees him there with Franklin Richards. That's it. There is nothing else. And this is all coming to a head in Avengers Doomsday, where you packed so many people into that movie, you don't even know how it's going to breathe. But no, you were always planning to do this. Yeah, we believe you. Social media was quick to react to his claims, with many outrightly accusing him of lying, because that's exactly what he's doing. While others blame the writing of Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania for making Kang untenable as the MCU's next Avengers level threat. Here's the thing, Kang has never been this overly, massive villain. He has his things about it. Kang could probably be a villain in maybe like one movie. Yes, they wasted him in Ant-Man, but he could probably do it in one movie. But Kang is a time-traveling multiverse weirdo, criminal, don't put it that way. He has some connection to the Fantastic Four. He is brilliant, a lot of kind of thing. Okay. But he's not exactly a kind of threat you're going to go running to the hills for. There are only a few people in Marvel that you can actually say that's going to be working for, right? And those boil down to basically Galactus, Thanos, Doctor Doom, maybe one or two others like that. That's really about it. Let's look at what some of the online comments had to say. I think Jonathan Majors did a great job portraying Kang the Conqueror, which may be the most watched, most wasted character in MCU. Like I said, Kang could be a villain in like maybe one movie, but I don't see him as the overblown threat that they were trying to turn him into. No, I don't think that was ever going to work. And next one, when the supposedly most menacing variant of all the Kangs gets beaten by a third tier character and a bunch of ants, the entire thing loses credibility. Wrote themselves into a corner on that one. Yep, that's what it is. And next one here, when you know they're lying, but you're still listening. Yeah, people go on here. Is that why they made plans for a completely different Avengers movie than the one we're currently getting when Ant-Man was coming out? And had a huge post-credit scene teasing the Council of Kangs? Come on. Nobody believes it. Yeah, because they had all of this Avengers, the Kang Dynasty. They were out there promoting that. Nobody's believing this lie. We all know what it is you're actually trying to do. You're not trying to fool anybody believing this whole, oh, well, we were always going to pivot away from Kang. You literally had Avengers, the Kang Dynasty, and set up this whole council of Kangs. You were trying to do Kang as the next big bad. And when Jonathan Majors fell from grace, you would call that because he got arrested for the assault thing. You you were quick to drop that idea, and then you literally ran and begged Robert Downey to come back and then offer him a whole shitload of money, which you're gonna have to pay a lot of other people a whole shitload of money. So that's what's going on. Next one says here, bringing back Junior is a big mistake. He's far past his recall date and won't be able to deliver the demanding role as Doctor Doom. This will be the final nail in Marvel's coffin. Not the first time I have heard someone say that. Honestly, not the first time I have heard someone say that when it comes to the Marvel and what they're doing now. Not the first time. And next one says here, didn't Kevin say Majors was the core of the next saga? Yes, he did. So once again, we know lying, and more lying. If Ant-Man hadn't flopped his character, would he still say this? Probably not. That's why you announced an Avengers movie about Kang. Exactly. So you wasted like an entire series and multiple movies. Yeah, bullshit. Because it is bullshit. So you discussed how to get rid of Jonathan Majors. Lord, I tell you, people ain't buying it at all. Reddit users were equally unaccepting of Feige's claims, with Kang's appearance in the post-credit scene of Ant-Man and Wasp Quantumania proving to be a sticking point. Now, I think this is rubbish. Read one of the comments in a popular thread, in which most users dismissed the comments made by the Marvel Studios president, further adding, he featured in Loki season 1 Ant-Man, including post-credit scene, which I thought was pretty chilling and well done, and Loki season 2. It continued, he was clearly going to be the big bad for this phase. Maybe Robert Downey Jr.'s Doom was a plan at some point further in the future post-Kang, but they would have gone through with Kang before and had the legal issues not come up. Yeah, we all know they would have done that. It's not a lie, we all know it. Robert Downey Jr.'s return as Doctor Doom wasn't announced until July 28, 2024 at the San Diego Comic-Con. This was over a year after Jonathan Majors was arrested. Jonathan Majors' legal troubles, on the other hand, escalated just over 1 month after the release of Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. The film's mid-credit scene remains the sticking point for most audiences, setting up Kang to be the new main threat. Something Marvel would have been less likely to do had Feige already been in talk to the former Iron Man actor. Yeah, look, at this point, it is clear that Kevin Feige is lying to save face. They were going in fully on Kang. And because of the whole Jonathan Majors legal trouble thing, they abandoned it and then they ran to Robert Downey Jr. And in fact, they have all these chairs, like 5 hours of this chairs to reveal. They go and putting everybody and the anti into the whole Avengers Doomsday thing. Is just showing how desperate Marvel is at this point. While Feige's comments suggest that there was nothing unplanned about what is probably the most audacious casting decision in MCU history, Reddit users were less than convinced by his remarks. We were already planning on scrapping Kang before Ant-Man 3 came out, which is why we left in that Council of Kangs mid-credit scene. A user asked on another thread on the subreddit, questioning the unresolved mid-credit scene from the Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. Yeah, they set up the whole Council of Kangs, so you know what they were gonna do. The seemingly abandoned post-credit scene keeps coming up in fan threads because it was clearly setting up Kang as the ultimate villain of the multiverse, with deadlier variants of the character who'd likely take over the He Who Remains from He Who Remains. In the scene, Rama taught Scarlet Centurion and Immortus, all seemingly deadlier variants of Kang, are introduced as they discuss taking over the multiverse, suggesting that He Who Remains was likely preventing them from doing so. Because they literally had this whole thing talking about how the Kangs have actually killed the Avengers in their own universes and all of this. So they were setting up Kang as the big bad. So this whole thing about how we were always going to go with Doctor Doom is crap, and we all know it. Another user also dismissed Kevin Feige's claim that the Marvel hierarchy realized Kang couldn't be as big as Thanos, declaring that is ridiculous. Thanos was as big as Kang before the MCU, so that makes no sense. I don't doubt that the flop of Ant-Man 3 was a major reason for scrapping the character instead of just recasting him, but this is just ridiculous. While Thanos is bigger than Kang in terms of raw strength, Kang's ability to traverse the multiverse and manipulate events in his image is unmatched. Moreover, the MCU already unleashed Kang as a multifaceted villain with astounding brilliance in controlling time travel and conquering universes in the 2 seasons of Loki as well as Ant-Man 3. Others also agree with this position, arguing that there was virtually no reason why Marvel couldn't make Kang as big or even bigger than Thanos. Maybe they could have, but I figured they would have found a way to screw it up. Some in the thread also suggest that recasting Kang would have been a better decision than dropping the character altogether, a move that Feige and other Marvel higher-ups don't seem to be considering. However, there are others who have been claiming that Doctor Doom was a way bigger villain than Kang in a 3-year-old thread on the MCU subreddit. Some users actually suggested that Kang would have had to give way to Doctor Doom at some point. The latter is the ultimate antagonist of Secret Wars in the comics. Maybe. The decision to transition from Kang to Doctor Doom was rushed, though leaving insufficient time to build up RDJ's Doctor Doom as a villain. They've done nothing to build up Doctor Doom as a villain. Nothing. Most MCU fans who aren't conversant with the comics are therefore more familiar with Major's Kang than Doctor Doom, so many don't know just how dangerous he could be. Bottom line of it, they were always going to use Kang. They were always going to do that. And the fact that Kevin Feige got to come out here and lie and say, nah, man, we were always going to do that. Then why did you have the whole Avengers, the Kang Dynasty? You are always going to do nothing, you lying. Kevin Feige, you know that what you're spouting is crap. So let's just stop pretending at this point. All right? We all know that the reason you dropped Kang is because of Jonathan Major's legal troubles. That's why. And now you're just trying to backtrack, or should I say, shift onto Doctor Doom, a character that you have done nothing to build up as a major threat. So, how is that going to work out in your upcoming majorly crammed Doomsday movie? We're going to find out. But nobody's believing you about how you know you were always going to shift away from Kang to Doctor Doom. We all know that's crap. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. Leave a different opinion. I'd love to hear it. If you like, if you're going to hit that thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Ring the notification bell. Be notified every time I post a new video. And I shall see you all next time. Take care.